Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. We're going to be going over newsletters, but we're going to give just a few moments for everybody to join up. We have Kirsten here with us today as well, monitoring comments. I'll go ahead and mute myself so we're not having that background of me talking. If anytime you want to talk in chat, feel free to. I'll be answering, doing a Q&A at the end. So if you'd like, wherever you guys are from, feel free to say that in chat. Be more than happy to see where you're tuning in from. Kirsten says Scottsdale, Arizona. Awesome. This live stream will be recorded, but we're also going to have an accompanying video coming out for this sometime this week. So if you end up missing chunks of today's live stream, don't worry about it. There will be a video. However, this live stream will be more in depth than the video. And we'll be starting in about 4 or 5 minutes or so. And while we wait for people to join, let me go ahead and prepare the slides. This live stream shouldn't be too long, so don't expect it to be like an hour long. Depending on how much Q&A there is, probably be about 35 minutes total. We have a total of 6 slides. The actual process of creating a newsletter is very, very simple. So we're not going to have a ton of tech stuff to go over. The main things we're going to go over is basically you finding your niche, you using the right tools, how to use those tools, what the process is, and really just general information about creating newsletters and the most efficient way to do it. Content at Scale is a powerful tool for more than just creating blog articles. Our AI agents allow you to do a lot more, and so we'll be going over all of that today. Do about 3 more minutes, let people join in. And if you're just now joining, let us know where you're from. Denise says, Texas, awesome. I would ask you what part of Texas, but I don't want you to answer that. Actually, one of the options for the move was actually Scottsdale or Austin, Texas. And I was absolutely opposed to moving to Austin, Texas because it was too hot. And I'm in Arizona, and I said it was too hot. West of Austin, awesome. I was at a conference, and I was just sweating profusely indoors in a hotel. I was like, this is hot. Wine country in Texas. Oh, awesome. Is there any like really cool wines that come out of there that are notable? If anybody has questions at all during this live stream, feel free to put them in chat as well. I'll be going through at the end and making sure that I answer them. Chicago, the Windy City. My brother actually lives in Chicago. Been up there a few times. There's an awesome Dominican restaurant right around where he lives, and I absolutely love eating there. And I've been there like 4 times, and I haven't once had a Chicago pizza. It's a shame. We'll wait about 2 more minutes, and we'll get started. Just want to give an opportunity for people to join up so they don't miss it. Yes, a lot of smaller wineries like Serrano, Grape Creek, etc. I'll have to try those. I don't drink a lot of wine, but I want to. Not like not that I wanna just consume wine, but, you know, I wanna try wine. Alright, if you missed it, this, live stream won't be that long. It's not gonna be an hour long like the usual ones. It'll be about 35 minutes depending on the Q&A. Um, we don't have a ton to go over. It's really simple, this whole entire process, and so I'm gonna give it to you as fast and most, efficiently as possible because it is a Monday. I know we all have a lot of stuff going on, so I don't wanna take up too much of your time, but I wanna give you the most impactful information possible so that we can start executing on creating newsletters because there's a huge opportunity for you to do that. It's hard not to go to a winery every day. I went to one wine tasting, and, I tasted too much wine, and I did not expect for them to serve us that much. I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine. It's not gonna be a ton of wine." They're in small glasses, and we had, like, 20 different wines we tasted, and I was having a good time. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in chat. At the end, I will go ahead and go through all of them, but let's go ahead and get started with this presentation. So we have a total of 6 slides here, and go ahead and pull up. There we go. We're gonna go to present. All right, welcome to my TED Talk. This entire presentation is gonna be full of AI images of me, because I did this presentation once, not with this same topic, but for a different one, and people seem to love the actual AI-generated images. They're pretty silly. But the prompt was, uh, "Add me to a TED Talk," basically. And so it came up with TED. And so this actual presentation is called AI Newsletters Live Build by Jeeb Joyce. Since it's spelled Teed, I decided to go with Jeeb since Jeff Joyce is Jeeb Joyce. So welcome to today's TED Talk. The primary goals of this webinar are, first off, why newsletters? What tools do you need? What's the process of actually creating the newsletter? Where should you publish a newsletter? And then we're gonna do a Q&A at the end. Not a ton of topics. It is a very simple process, so I'm super excited that you guys are here. And yeah, you can see it's pretty consistent with those TEEDs. So if you're wondering what tool it was that generated this specific images, it was Leonardo.ai. It's actually the tool that I recommend most when it comes to creating AI images because the UI is just fantastic and it has so many things that you can do inside the tool. But this isn't a AI image creation tutorial. It's gonna be about newsletters, but we're trying to spice it up and make it a little bit more fun. So let's go over why newsletter in 2024. Newsletters have been around for a long time, and it kind of seems like everybody has one. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a newsletter. In fact, there's more of an opportunity now than ever for you to create and distribute a newsletter. And if you go over some stats here, um, so why newsletter in 2024? One, you can reach a massive audience with over 4 billion users worldwide in 2024 and expected growth to 4.6 billion by 2025. Email provides access to a vast potential audience. We have two, high engagement and conversion rates. Email marketing boasts impressive engagement metrics. For instance, 61% of consumers want to receive promotional emails weekly, especially if you're delivering on information that your audience actually wants to hear. That's very, very important. So more so than just an update about what your business is, what is the information that's really going to help them? And if you can establish that, then your newsletter will become really powerful and valuable to your audience. So why a newsletter in 2024 continued, more and more that just stop looking like me. Leave a comment in the chat if you think this looks like me here as opposed to the image. Um, the ownership of your audience. Unlike social media platforms where algorithms can limit reach, email marketing provides your business with direct ownership of your contact list. This means that you own every single subscriber that you have to your newsletter, and you can market to them whenever that you want. It doesn't matter if Facebook limits your reach. It doesn't matter if your ads aren't converting the way that they should be. You can always email your email list, provided that you have, an email client. You can do so. Uh, Despite newsletters being around for forever, it's still growing. So the newsletter industry is experiencing a significant growth. For example, Beehive, a popular newsletter platform, saw a seven-fold increase in creators starting newsletters in 2023 compared to 2022. There's a lot of them. In fact, I ended up creating a newsletter um, on Beehive because I saw that it was a growing trend, and it did fairly well. However, I stopped doing newsletters because in lieu of video, I enjoyed doing video much more than written. So that is why I'm the AI director and media director here at Content Scale, because I love doing video on these live streams and such. So what tools do you need? It's very simple. If you're a Content at Scale customer, awesome. You already have one of the major tools that you need. So the newsletter creation agent specifically is what you're going to need. And you have a central canvas in the center of your Content at Scale app. It allows you to iterate and compile your newsletter. It's very powerful. I'm going to show you how to do that today. You need Beehive or an alternative. Like I said earlier, Beehive was the tool that I used, and I absolutely love it. It allows you to actually take everything that you have from Content at Scale, add it to Beehive, and then structure it out how you want, add the images that you want, and then get it scheduled and posted. And then Perplexity is the last tool. It's basically just a Google search on steroids. It goes a lot deeper. We'll be going over that as well today. And if you want a full video on Beehive, there's one on our YouTube channel for Content at Scale. So I actually have a brain implant right here. This is a neural link being implanted into my brain. If you wonder what this image is. All right, so time for process. Like I said, very quick. This is gonna be a very simple and fast live stream. This is a really easy process to do. And because of Content at Scale and some of the other apps that we have, it's gonna be really fast for you. So let me go ahead and transition over here. And let's get set up. If you're just now tuning in, let me know where you're from. I'd love to see comments from where you're located. All right. The UK, nice. What part of the UK and what time is it right now for you? All right, almost done here. Go back to StreamYard. I'm gonna share my screen. Well, it's not too late, 7 p.m. Oh yeah, that's not that bad. Thanks for tuning in, I appreciate it. All right. All right, so if you're a Content at Scale customer, then you're very familiar with this dashboard. This is your essential hub for you to see what posts you've created, how many words you generated, time saved, cost savings, all that kind of stuff. On a very neat dashboard. The main tab that we're going to be focusing on today is the Start Writing tab. This is actually the main canvas for pretty much everything that you do besides blog posts. So social posts, so your newsletters, your scripts, everything. There's a ton of agents here in this AI agent tab, and you can just go through and select the agent that you want and use it. Now we're constantly going through and iterating on this. So even this newsletter creator, I was tweaking this all the way up until last night because I wanted to make sure that it was perfect for today's webinar. And let's go ahead and use them. So there's just a newsletter creator, and the process for this is very simple. We're going to we need to ideate what is going to be the theme of the new newsletter, and what should we call it? So I want to create a newsletter in the we'll do real estate niche. Can you help me come up with a name and what I should talk about in my newsletter? So what's going to do now, it's going to give us some options for the name as well as some things that we should talk about. And this is the starting point for you to create your newsletter. So we're just going to add this to editor and see what it has to say. All right. Of course, I'd be happy to assist. Firstly, coming up with a name for your real estate newsletter is crucial as it will set the tone and attract the right audience. Here are a few suggestions. One, property polls. Kind of like that. Two, estate insider. Three, realty beat. Four, housing horizons. Now, we obviously need to go through and make sure that these aren't taken. We're not going to do that for the sake of this webinar because we wanted to expedite as fast as possible and give you the most information, but that is a part of the process. Once you like one of these, make sure that you go through and validate it to make sure that it's actually available because you don't want to use somebody else's newsletter name. I would also say, like, if it's a name of a podcast or even if somebody owns the domain, I'd probably not use that for your newsletter name. So let's go ahead and go with property polls. So I'm going to say, I like property polls. Let's see if it gives us, it does. As for topics, here are several subjects that you should cover in your newsletter, which would be valuable to your audience. Market reports analysis, homeowner tips, local spotlight, property investment strategies, real estate laws and regulations, interviews, and profiles. Okay, I really like homeowner tips. So let's go ahead and go with that. I really like property polls and homeowner tips. I'm going to provide you with a piece of content, and I want you to start writing for me. Now, this is not something that you have to do. Whenever you use this agent, all you have to do is input the content that you wanted to write about, and it'll get started on that process for you. So one of the tools that I like to use is actually Perplexity. And Perplexity is basically like searching on Google, but it's on steroids. It allows you to go a lot deeper, ask more specific questions, get stats, get all this information, and have it compiled for you very neatly. So give me 10, let's do 5. 5 ownerships, ownership tips for housing that every prospective buyer should know in 2024. So it's going to go through its process and it's going to find all this information for us. Like I said, this process of creating the newsletter is so incredibly easy. Just using these 2 tools and going back and forth. And this canvas really allows you to build out your newsletter. I'm going to show you how in a moment. All right. So here are 5 essential ownership tips that every prospective home buyer should know in 2024. Understand your financial readiness, get a pre-approved for mortgage, be flexible and patient with your search, factor in all home ownership costs, stay informed about market trends. I like that. Let's go and grab all of this. And before I go ahead and paste it into the chat, I am going to just clean this up a little bit. Okay, looks like it didn't bring through the links. That's fine. That works perfectly. So we're just going to enter message and paste that in. And what it'll do is it'll look through this, get us the most impactful information, and then summarize it. So it's already writing. Let's give it a moment. All right. So as you can see, we already have a section of the newsletter. We can actually leave it at this if you want. If you want a short and precise newsletter, this is perfect because then you can just go through here, maybe add some segmentation. So maybe add like these lines, which is what I used to do in my newsletter. And I would use that to better format the newsletter. Just that way it looks a little cleaner. Okay. And then the last thing I would do is just look for images. I would look for supportive images for maybe like 2 of these and just add it in. I would just hit enter, add in the image. And then you basically have a newsletter already, but you can go deeper than that. One of the things it's really good at is that when you take this information and actually add your opinion to it, it works really, really well. So if I were to go in here paste this back in. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. User error. Let's let it load for a second. Damien says he's from Los Angeles. Awesome, man. Los Angeles is beautiful. I've only been to Los Angeles once. I've been to San Diego once. I want to go back. All right. So I'm going to add that back in. And I say also talk about how important credit scores are to the pre-approval process. And I can't spell. All right. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And it should create that with my opinion in there. Or I should say the addition that I wanted added in. But let's say that you're doing news and you wanted to add in your opinion on the news piece, which I highly recommend because it makes the content more tailored to you. It will do that. The other thing is that it will link to certain articles if you have links in there. So if it includes a link when you paste it in, it will link it to the most relevant spot. All right, so this is a new one. Let's go ahead and erase this one and add this in. All right. Let's look at the pre-approval credit edge. Demands more detailed look at your finances. Credit scores play a vital role in this process, demonstrating your reliability as a borrower and thus your pre-approval chances. So this is just one way that you create a newsletter inside of Content at Scale. And if you wanted to go more deep into like relevant news, that's like the most up-to-date news that has come out. You can say in Perplexity, for instance, give me the most relevant real estate news in June of 2024. Or we can say July. I'm gonna say June because there's probably more information. So the reason why you would want to use Perplexity instead of just content at scale, for newsletter sakes, what you want to do is provide a very guided experience when using an agent. So you can simply just go in and just use content at scale to create the entire newsletter. So if I just had a piece of content that was about something that I'm teaching, you could absolutely do that and use this to create the newsletter that way. However, what we're focusing on right now is the news portion of it. What is the most relevant thing? And also, uh, let's say that you don't have an idea of what you want the newsletter to be about. Perplexity is an excellent tool for you to workshop ideas. So these agents aren't connected to live search, and so we use Perplexity to then dive in and paste that content in there, if that answers your question. So let's see. Reach a massive audience, there are 4 million. Oh, that's newsletters. Where did my search go? Oh, it's down here. All right. So we have housing market predictions and trends. The housing market in 2024 continues to face challenges. So let's say we wanted to create just a single section of the newsletter. This would be perfect, just copying this section. And we can do this in pieces. So we go back to content scale. We go to start writing. And let me scroll down here. There we go. Let's refresh this. Let's add that in. And perfect, just like that, we have a section for the newsletter. So as you can see, it's very, very simple and easy to use this process. Like I said, if you have content already made, you can simply just copy that content in. You don't have to use Perplexity or anything else. That's why in the slides I actually say Perplexity is optional. So you don't have to use it. I just recommend using it because I see that most of the newsletters out there are relevant on topics. These topics are relevant in the current day. So if it's like something that's trending news or something that is like trending in general on Google search, it's typically better to use something like Perplexity to surface that information. You can even put your own spin on it, include that information in the newsletter creator, and it'll drum up the whole thing for you. So from there, that is basically the entire process of creating a newsletter. It's very simple. It's gonna save you a ton of time. This is the process that I use to create my newsletter, and let me actually get on screen what my newsletter looked like. I actually would post my newsletter in 2 different places. I posted on LinkedIn, and I also posted on Beehive. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay. So give me one moment, I'm logging in currently. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. During the Q&A, I'll definitely go through and read those answers, those questions. All right, let me go ahead and drag this down. There we go. And you guys should be able to see it now. So this is my newsletter, AI Curious. And this entire newsletter is written by AI, just using this process. And so I would take screenshots of tweets, add that in there for the images. I would also do GIFs too. There's tons of tools. I'm not gonna get into all the tools right now for doing GIFs, but like Mac has one built in. You can also use CleanShot X on Mac, and then you can also do GIFs that way as well. Very simple to do. And then if you actually include a link here inside of the content at scale agent, the newsletter agent, it will hyperlink and it even also add it to the bottom. So like this, link to Rowan's post, all that kind of information. As long as you provide it good information, it will link to the source, which is awesome. And so this is the dotted line I was talking about. And the entire thing is just written by AI. It's very, very simple. And I would do this almost daily. Are there different subscription options in Beehive? Which do you use? I believe I use the lowest tier. I don't do this anymore, so I couldn't really tell you the exact pricing, but we do have a video on it from when I was doing the newsletter there. But I mean, if you're going to start a newsletter in 2024, start with the lowest option and build it up. Don't pay for more than what you need. And if there's a free option available to you, start on the free one. Feel free to bootstrap it. That is like the purpose of newsletter. Like figure out your cadence, figure out what you like, launch the newsletter and get it out there and start publishing. The more you start publishing, the more you're going to get used to it. The more this becomes second nature to you, and the further you're going to get. So very simple. Awesome. So Kirsten said, Denise, they have a $0 option. That's awesome. So definitely recommend Beehive, but also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an excellent place for you to publish your newsletter. It'll further increase growth to your profile. It'll set you up as an authority in your niche, and it allows people to just get more information and get to know you. Don't be afraid to add personality to this as well. Inside of the actual conversation that you have with the agent, feel free to add jokes, feel free to add little quips, and add all that stuff into the actual copy that you give it, and it will make your newsletter stand out a lot more. All right, let's see here. So we went over finding the niche, which is very, very simple. We just used the agent. It was able to give us the name. It was able to give us what we should talk about for real estate. We went over stats, why it's important to have a newsletter in 2024, the idea generation machine, which is basically using Perplexity and tools like Perplexity to just come up with ideas for the content. And that's very easy to do. It was so simple for us to just go to Perplexity and just type in real estate news. And we can even go a step further from that. All that news that we got, we can go one step deeper and say, give me news related to this topic based on this article, and then give it the article link and give you even more ideas. Or you can even just ask the newsletter creator for ideas in that niche. Content is skill, learn the secrets to writing high quality newsletters fast. So one thing I want to say also about this canvas right here is it has a ton of other features built into it. So once we have information inside of the editor, we see this button like Ask AI. This is going to give you a ton of different things that you can use to then spruce up your content even more. You have undetectable rewrite. So if it's coming back as AI with AI detection, you can use this to make sure it's undetectable. You can improve the writing. So if you don't like the output, you can use it that way. Fix spelling and grammar, make sections shorter or make sections longer. You can change the tone, simplify the sections, or summarize. So all this is built in here for you to be able to make these sections even better. How long should your newsletter be? It can be however long that you feel that it needs to be. However, I always like to say that around 150 to 200 words per section max, maybe about 3 sections max. So that gives you, at the most 600 words, which is a pretty lengthy newsletter, but you wanna try to get it as concise and to the point as possible, which is why these sections are actually capped at 150 words. We wanna make sure that we are to the point and actually give valuable information that the user actually wants to read. So what about saving? Once you go to save this, all you have to do is click the save button, and you'll save the file, get back to it, you hit this plus button or the search icon, and it'll be the first document right here in your recent. So it's very easy to get back to this, and you can save it. Maybe you only did one section of your newsletter, you can come back to it at a later time and complete another section, and it'll be ready for you to dive back into. Alright, let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else I didn't cover. Let's see. Some additional tips, if you want to create images for your newsletter, if I go back to the actual, slides, use Leonardo. Actually, let me pull that up too. This is what I use to create images most of the time, and it is fantastic. You can create characters, it has, um, realism filters, all sorts of stuff. You can generate a certain amount of images for free, each day, but I highly suggest this is leonardo.ai. I'll go ahead and type in chat for you guys as well. Oh, perfect, here. Thank you so much. Um, I mean, besides that, that is really how you create a newsletter. If you want to include tweets, stuff like that, all you have to do is take a screenshot of the tweet, and then include a link below it. And if you want to create GIFs, there's an app on macOS called CleanShot X that allows you to do GIFs. That's the name of it. And if you're on PC, Camtasia works really well. But other than that, that is literally how simple and easy it is to create newsletters using content at scale. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up to any oh, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to any questions you guys may have, but that's basically it. Like I said, it's gonna be a very short live stream, just getting into how to create newsletters fast. It's as simple as that. Just use the AI agent, copy in the information, get it input into the editor, edit it how you want, add in those little images, go to Beehive, go to LinkedIn, upload them, and you're good to go. Very simple. Hey, Richard, no problem. Feel free to let me know what you guys wanna see in the future. I wanna do more of these, at least, like, once or twice a month. I've seen some people using their LinkedIn newsletters as part of their email newsletter, and they use it to drive traffic to their LinkedIn account. Thoughts? Let me read this again. I've seen some people use their LinkedIn newsletters as part of their email newsletter, and these are to drive traffic to their LinkedIn account. I think that, yes, that works. If all of your email subscribers aren't following you on LinkedIn, yes, that works. Um, the main thing about LinkedIn newsletters is that it's a traffic source to your LinkedIn profile already. So when you're publishing on LinkedIn itself, it'll show up in search, it'll show up in people's feeds, especially if you're interacting with people. Every single day, what you wanna do is spend about 30 minutes to an hour if you have the time to. I know that sounds like a huge commitment, but just in the morning, engage with people by commenting on their posts and adding value, and you are more likely to have your content served to them when you do that process. So I highly recommend doing that. Denise says, "Thanks." Awesome. Well, I love doing this. These are a ton of fun. Um, I wanna do more of them, so if you have anything that you'd like to have covered, maybe there's a process in your business that involves content that you want streamlined more, feel free to let us know. You can also email me at jeff@contentatScale.ai, and I can put together a presentation on whatever it is that you're, wanting to streamline using content at scale. More than happy to do that. I'm not entirely sure what the next one's gonna be. I'm gonna go through, comments and make sure that I have a good handling on what people want, and, yeah, there will be a video for this coming out later this week on this entire process. It'll be more concise, smaller, about a 10-minute video, but this does have more information in it in this live stream. And other than that, that's gonna be it. Well, I enjoyed doing today's tutorial. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.